What is up, everybody? The 2023 NBA playoffs have finally reached the second round, and you're probably noticing that today is May 2nd. They've been in the second round for a few days now. Why am I so late to the party, or tardy to the party, I think is what the kids say. And it's a mixture of being a bit busy with, stuff around the house, stuff on the farm, and also the Lakers and Warriors matchup wasn't finalized until just a couple days ago, so I wanted to wait for them all to be finalized before I sat down and really worked on this. And I'm doing this without a script. I usually like to type out entirely everything I'm going to say, but I'm just not in the mood today. I just want to get this done because this happens every year in the playoffs. I start off so excited and I end up being so like, what's the point as it progresses. As a Suns fan, I often wonder what's the point of being a Suns fan, but we'll get to that. We'll start out in the Eastern Conference. I'm going to start with the more fun matchup. It's the Miami Heat, who pulled off a miraculous upset over the Milwaukee Bucks, something that nobody predicted. I thought it'd be a sweep. That's how confident I was it wouldn't be competitive. Taking on the New York Knicks, who pulled off an upset of themselves over the Cleveland Cavaliers. The very obvious thing that I need to talk about when you look at these two teams is how badly the Knicks are playing with shooting the basketball. RJ Barrett is shooting 24% from deep. Jalen Brunson, 23. Julius Randle, 23. That's terrible. Also, Randle's hurt right now. He missed game one of the matchup. So the Knicks offense, even though they've been winning, thanks in large part to defense, their defense isn't really that miraculous. The Heat already won game one. We saw the Knicks defense at home against the Heat, and it didn't stop them. And the Knicks offense, once again, wasn't good. What's going to have to happen here is the Knicks are going to have to start hitting some shots. They've got Obi Toppin, who got his first start in game one of the second round, and he's averaging 9 points a game, shooting 35% from deep. He's their best shooter. That's not enough. Josh Hart is also the best defender they have for Jimmy Butler, and that's not going to work. Jimmy Butler has averaged 35 points per game so far in the playoffs. That's crazy. Josh Hart isn't going to stop him. And another thing to talk about is how Tyler Hero and Victor Oladipo are injured currently, and how that really hasn't hurt anything. And the reason for that is, at least in the case of Tyler Hero, I'm not 100% sure about Victor Oladipo. Hero's got an atrocious offensive rating. Yes, he is a good player himself. He can score the basketball decently well over most anyone, but for some reason, when he is on the court, it's like the players around him just are kind of shut down. And is Tyler Hero a bit of a ball hog, or does he just not create well for others? Does he not move well off the ball? I'm not 100% sure what the real problem is, but they don't have that issue because he's not playing because he broke his hand. And then Victor Oladipo is not playing as well, who's also historically not a very effective scorer. And you would think that would devastate the team because now they're relying on guys like Max Strus and Caleb Martin. And Duncan Robinson's been getting minutes, and the thing is, they're all playing really well. I'm gonna check real quick. They have 8 guys shooting 40% from 3 or better. One of them's Oladipo, so throw him out. 7 guys. Oh, one of them's Hero. 6 guys. Still though, 6 guys shooting 40% from deep or better. Plus Caleb Martin shooting 38%. That's awesome. They are just scoring really, really well, and they still play really good defense. There's so much to like about this Heat team, and they're going to do something I've personally never seen before, and that's make the conference finals. I have the Heat winning this series in 5 games. Moving on to the second matchup, we have the Boston Celtics taking on the Philadelphia 76ers, and I had a certain idea going into this matchup that you cannot ignore the fact that Joel Embiid is doing exactly as Joel Embiid every single year does. Dominate, absolutely destroy his competition, but get hurt and miss extended periods of time. And I thought that the fact that Embiid missed game one was going to be like a death sentence for the team, but guys like James Harden really stepped up and they ended up winning that game. And you're looking at this team, Harden is averaging 22 a night. He's shooting the ball extremely well. Tyrese Maxey is also averaging 22 a night and shooting the ball just as well. Tobias Harris is putting up almost 20 a night, and he's shooting the ball even better than both of them. Those 3 guys are making up for the loss of Embiid so far. And then you've got D'Anthony Melton off the bench putting up 12 a night, also shooting the ball really, really well. So they've got guys who are scoring. They've got guys who can stand in the corner and shoot a three every now and then, aka Georges Niang. And then they have some defensive players. So the Sixers have what they need to win games. Meanwhile, the Celtics, they did not have the best of first rounds, in my opinion. The Hawks really pointed out a lot of their weaknesses, and that's an over willingness to settle for jump shots and an inability to grab rebounds when they need them. They are not small, but guys like Al Horford and Robert Williams, they're not the best of rebounders in the world. There are dudes who can out-rebound them, and that could be a problem for the team in this series, especially if Joel Embiid returns. He's averaging 11 rebounds a game, at least that's what he did in the first round, and that was against a smaller center, Nicholas Claxton. These are smaller centers as well. Horford's not that small, but he's not that much of an athlete, like jumping wise, and that's why I'm calling him a smaller center. He's not a Joel Embiid type. Not that there's very many of those running around. The Celtics, they just looked very human. They have games where they just don't make their shots and they're not playing good defense. The Sixers, not to say they don't have those games, but they've yet to have one here in the playoffs. The Sixers already won game one, so going off of that and what we've seen in both first rounds, I have to also remember that Embiid's hurt, and he could miss the entire series, apparently, because what else is new? Goodness. I'm going to predict the Sixers win the series, and I'm going to say they're going to get it done in 6 games. All right, we're moving on to the Western Conference, and we are going to talk about the LA Lakers, who pulled off a miraculous upset in the first round, taking down the number 2 seed Grizzlies, taking on the Golden State Warriors, who themselves pulled off a miraculous upset, taking down the number 3 seed Kings. So, 2 teams that, unfortunately, I'm not too happy to see have made it this far, because they're both the big name teams that everyone thought would make it. Not to say I always root for upsets, but I was rooting for both upsets. However, whatever, it is what it is. The Lakers, they looked really stinking good when they were on. They looked pretty beatable though when they took nights off, and I think that's the problem that's gonna be for them for the rest of the playoffs. Like, they are a great team. LeBron actually hasn't shot great in this series, except he's been great on his twos, but he's been chucking a lot of threes and he's been really bad at it. But then, like, Austin Reeves has been good. Anthony Davis has been kind of quiet, only 20 points a game. You say only, but he's averaging 13 boards and 4 blocks. That's pretty amazing. D'Angelo Russell's been kind of forgettable. Rui Hachimura has been phenomenal. Got to give him a lot of credit, and that's kind of it. All the other guys kind of barely score 2 to 4 points. I guess Vanderbilt scores 7 a game, but not very well. The Lakers, they have games, though, where they absolutely blow out their opponents, and then they'll have games where you wonder how they could even make it into the playoffs. Like, they were so varied in effort, depending on if it was convenient for them to try. And that's why their matchup took 6 games to win. You're just tiring yourselves out. Meanwhile, for the the Warriors, they had a big up and down stretch in their first round matchup with the Kings. After falling down 0-2, where it was looking like the end was near for Draymond Green and the Warriors dynasty, they stormed back. Stephen Curry did not let them lose. He played out of his mind, scoring 33 a game, and he shot the ball. I guess he didn't shoot the ball crazy efficiently, because he had some games where he didn't shoot the ball well. But he had a 50-point game to finish it off, so he was there. Klay Thompson's been just okay. Andrew Wiggins has been there defensively, but not been there offensively. He has shot the ball very, very poorly. Jordan Poole has shot the ball poorly. Draymond Green never shoots the ball anything but poorly. Kevon Looney, that's the dude who needs to get a lot of credit. He doesn't get enough shots, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is when he grabs an offensive rebound, I feel like he opts just to kick it out way too often. Like, you're 7 feet tall and an NBA player, dude, just put it right back up. But 15 boards a night is amazing. And he's also averaging 4 assists a night, which rivals Stephen Curry, if you can believe that. The Warriors are just too stinking good, but they also look beatable. But there is a big difference in the 2 teams that they face. The Kings, I would say, honestly are just as good as any of these second round teams, whereas the Grizzlies were not. The Lakers lost 2 to the Grizzlies. The Warriors lost 3 to the Kings. As much as it pains me to say this, I think the Warriors are going to win this matchup. I just, even though these are both two teams who I could see taking road games off, and in the end, Golden State's going to be the home court advantage team. So even if they take road games off, I still think they're going to win the matchup. So give me Golden State, and it's going to be another 7-game series. I know it's going to really exhaust these guys, but if you don't want to put your foot down and win the series in a hurry, you're going to play a long one. So sorry, Laker fans, you had a great run getting to the second round. LeBron James is still arguably the GOAT, but you're not beating the Warriors in the second round matchup. And then we move to the final matchup of the second round, the one that pains me the most and just makes me really question what's the point of even being a fan of a basketball team? Like, really, what's the point? Denver Nuggets taking on the Phoenix Suns. So I'm going to start with the Nuggets. The Nuggets are a great team that do not get enough respect. Like, I can say that with 100% confidence. Nikola Jokic, people love to find the bad in his game, but holy cow, his good is better than just about anyone. He scores the ball spectacularly inside and out. He rebounds just as good as the best rebounders in the league. He's a great playmaker. And say what you want about his defense, he averages over a steal a game, so he must be doing something right. Jamal Murray has been playing out of his mind. He's shooting the ball extremely well. Aaron Gordon, a very, very quiet, just superstar role player. He has been phenomenal for them on both ends of the floor. And I know you don't think of Gordon as a defensive player. You go look at his steals and blocks, and you're like, oh, it's not very good. But when you just watch the games, the dude is just a menace. He's big. He knows how to be in the way. He knows where to put his hands. He's just a smart player. And what's even more frustrating is he's shooting 42% from deep right now, which is extremely just out of left field. That's not how good of a shooter he is. Michael Porter Jr. is also a good shooter. He has games where you forget he's there because if he's not shooting the ball well or at all, then he's not going to do anything because he doesn't really attack the rim. He's not much of a defensive player. Bruce Brown, I've noticed he's extremely angry. He has yelled at the refs more than anyone in this matchup. And it's just kind of funny to me because I don't think of Bruce Brown as one of the biggest hotheads in the league, but that's what he is, really. He's not been playing well, at least shooting the ball. His defense has been fine, and he has been scoring well inside. But the dude has been kind of a hothead. That's where I'm noticing him the most. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope shoots his threes and makes them. And then the other dudes kind of run around and are just annoying. Jeff Green has been a lot better than his 3 points per game might lead you to believe. But this team here, my goodness, the Nuggets are just such a well-oiled machine. Whether their shots are falling or not, they will show up on the defensive end of the floor. And usually that means they're going to win. They won their first round matchup in 5. They're already up 2-0 on the Suns. It's the only matchup that's gone that far as of right now. They're just too good, in my opinion. The Phoenix Suns, meanwhile, oh my lordy. They are a bad, bad team. And it pains me to say that. It really does. Because Devin Booker is amazing. Devin Booker, through 7 games, has averaged 35 a game, shooting the ball 46% from deep. He's also averaging 2 steals a night and a block. In 6 dimes. He does everything you could possibly want from a superstar player. Devin Booker has been amazing. Kevin Durant, unfortunately, has been up and down. He has some games where he is spectacular, and then he'll have some games where he just can't hit the broadside of a barn, aka Game 2 of the second round. They need him to score 35 if they want to win, and it's frustrating to say, but because of how Monty, the coach, is playing everything, he's just running the starters for 40 minutes a game and the bench players, he's just drawing a name out of a hat to decide who comes in. They need Booker and Durant to average 35 a night if they want to get wins, and unfortunately that hasn't been the case so far in the second round. DeAndre Ayton, I am just sick of. I'm sick and tired of this guy, and you're going to see 15 and 10 and think, oh, it's not bad, you're being a little overly harsh. Ayton is just the softest center you'll ever find. He's athletic, he's muscular, he is tall, he has the green light. He is everything you could want out of a young center. If you're a young man and you're kind of tall and you want to be an NBA center, you want to have the body like Ayton. That's what you want. And Ayton just doesn't use it. he does not use it. He doesn't put in the work off the court. He is lazy on defense. He doesn't know any offensive plays other than a fadeaway or a little fadeaway hook shot, which is basically the same thing. And he is just a terrible rebounder. He's a terrible weak side defender. He's a terrible on-ball defender. He is terrible at knowing how to move around the court to get in the passing lanes to receive a pass. He's terrible when he catches the ball inside and how to like just go up and dunk it. There's nothing I like about Ayton, honestly. It's so frustrating to watch. Like on many occasions, Biyombo comes in and he's the better player. Even though Biyombo can't shoot worth anything. Biyombo is such a good defensive player that his defense makes their overall games, Biyombo's the better player. I know that's a really weird thing to wrap your head around if you're just looking at box score numbers. Also, even like Jock Landale. I know he's barely played. 3 points a game, that really doesn't jump out at you, and he's actually not shot the ball particularly well. But Landale at least puts forth effort that Ayton you'll never see Ayton do. Landale will, even if he's not right there ready to grab a rebound, he will do everything he can to at least get a fingertip on it to poke it away from the other guy. Ayton will just stand there and watch and say, rats, maybe next time, guys. And it's just so frustrating to watch. All right, Chris Paul, he's old. It's frustrating to watch. It's not frustrating. It's sad to watch, you know? It's not a frustrating thing because I expected it. It's sad, though. He's just old. He's not very fast. He can't shoot very well. He pulled his groin in the last game, which is not surprising at all. I'm just not impressed with him. Torrey Craig is just bad. I know he shot the ball well in the first round, but I don't know why he was starting. He's a bad rebounder. He's a bad defensive player. He's normally a bad offensive player. He is the king at poking the ball out of his teammates' hands and just either hitting it out of bounds or hitting it to an opposition on the defensive end. I don't know why Craig loves to do that, but he is just so good at it. Josh Okogie, I really like. There's not much I can negatively say about Okogie, but along the same line of Biyombo, you know, Okogie's defense is what makes him such a good player. His offense is terrible, but his defense is so good, I'd rather have Okogie out there than Torrey Craig or any of the other dudes that kind of run around every now and then on the court. And then there's just a huge issue with Monty's understanding of his rotation. In the regular season, Terrence Ross was playing every game, double-digit minutes, scoring the ball well. He has touched the court for a total of 9 minutes in this first round, and I don't know why. I do not know why Terrence Ross can't get on the court. TJ Warren is a guy who could average 20 a game if he was, given the ball a lot, which he's not going to be given the ball a lot. He's not going to average 20 a game with the Suns. But he's only played 6 minutes, and I just don't know why. Ish Wainwright is a good perimeter defensive player, and yet Monty's like, you're going to be the center, and if that doesn't work out, you're not going to play. And I don't understand that. He's only 6'7". Landry Shamet is terrible. Landry Shamet, he doesn't have a single skill that works. He doesn't shoot the ball well. He's not a good defensive player. He doesn't create well for others, and he's not a rebounder. There's nothing Landry Shamet does. That's an NBA level, caliber rate. He doesn't do anything. And he famously, in their first game of the first round, or maybe it was the last game of the second round, I don't remember. He checked into the game in the fourth quarter. It's a close game. He fouls the three-point shooter. He turns it over. He checks out. And we're just supposed to clap for that. Damian Lee, normally I'm a huge fan of, and he didn't get minutes to start out the playoffs. He's been getting minutes ever since, and he just can't hit the broadside of the barn either. Now, normally he is a good shooter. So, I don't know what's up with that. Well, I do know what's up with that. They're not getting him good shots. For some reason, the Suns' offense has become extremely ISO heavy, and do not just say, oh, that's the playoffs. It's not just the playoffs. It's a sign of the coach forgetting what the heck he's doing. Like, there is a system that works, and every now and then the Suns will throw the ball around and they'll get an open three or an open layup or something, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch. And then for the next 5 possessions, they'll dribble down the floor. Booker will do an ISO fadeaway, and he makes it at a higher rate than most players would make it, but oh my gosh, can we please get easy shots, because it doesn't go in a lot of the time. And if Booker's not shooting it, it's not going in. Kevin Durant, bless his little heart, he's not shooting it at a high enough rate to make it actually a good shot. And then Cameron Payne was hurt. He came back, whatever. The Suns just don't deserve to go on to the second round. They're playing so poorly. I think the Nuggets are going to win this matchup, and I think the Nuggets are going to win it in 5 games. I don't think it's going to be very close. So quick refresher here. I've got the Heat winning. I've got the Sixers winning. I have the Warriors winning, and I have the Nuggets winning. So thank you guys for watching. If you agree or disagree, let me know down in the comments. And that's all I have to say. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.